Let's talk about the racist Mann Act, shall we? Which was created in 1910, and it was for boxer Jack Johnson, who was one of the greatest heavyweight champions ever. Uh, and he was fighting very segregated time. You imagine 115 years ago, which ain't that long ago. Ain't that long ago. He got pardoned by Donald Trump in 1918, but they still got the racist Mann Act around. Now, you want to know about that act? That's what Diddy and others have been charged with. But it's the stupidest racist act you can imagine. A black man is trafficking women for relations, and this is what they used as a way. It's the Jack Johnson Act. The irony is he got pardoned. So make it make sense, America with three Ks. How do you pardon a man, arrest a man, and create an act against a man, and only because his dealings with white women? Make it make sense. That's the reality of the Mann Act. It is one of the most racist, corrupt acts. Now, when we talk about slavery and reparations and stuff, but they don't want to talk about that, but they got the Mann Act. They penalized a black man because he had white women and he was going across places with them. And that's what it was about. And they used that, but yet he got a pardon. So, how do you create a law in 1910 and then 108 years later you pardon him? Make it make sense, America. Please do. Because I am lost and stomped. I'm kind of dumbfounded and flabbergasted. Maybe that's like when I used to live in Hampton, Virginia, Newport News. Was it they have Nat Turner Street. And you know how they told you how Nat Turner was coming attack on his slave masters, but yet they acknowledge him. So you're a freedom fighter? Did you break the law? How does that work? Just like Harriet Tubman had a bounty on her head, but they want to put on a $20 bill, which ain't going to happen, especially with Trump and all that going on. But how do they take black folks that on one hand they consider breaking the law or problematic, but yet they want to make them into heroes? See, that's the cap that America deals with. And you don't know what size fits and how they want it to fit, but they make it up as they go along. The Mann Act is one of the most racist things anywhere in the world. And it was used as a deterrent against black men. A black man who had white women in his cars and was taken to who he married the woman, that was considered against the law. Not to mention marrying a white woman, which was considered a felony, and it wasn't until 1967 that was legalized. But that's not a whole story, another video. That's part of the American history, language, and mental illness that they don't really want to talk about. How great was Jack Johnson? Well, I guess they probably took it personal because he was beating white men up in the ring and he was messing with white women outside the ring and he was living his best life. Bless his heart, bless his soul. If that wasn't the freest black man that you could imagine, and it wasn't that long ago, 115 years ago, you know. And James Earl Jones did The Great White Hope, and Jack Johnson, the movie soundtrack was done by Miles Davis. Brock Peters, the great actor, did a great narrative about that. But you need to understand, they got this act as law. So they can selectively pick against black men. That's what you see. Mm-hmm. Ain't it funny how I just want to know how the Jack Johnson, because it's the Jack Johnson Mann Act, but how do you get a pardon when they got a law against you? Isn't that schizophrenic? Isn't that as bipolar and crazy and as idiotic as these bigots are? You know, what about the intimidation, lynching ones? What about the other ones? You know, ain't that something? Ain't that something that is what that is? Because it was created as a deterrent. And that's the only reason why it was. So what does it mean? That's the cap that goes on. Let me know what you think. Jack Johnson Mann Act, because they need to call it the Jack Johnson Mann Act, because it was the law that was created against him of what he was doing. But he didn't break any laws. He just dated and married white women, and he didn't know. He didn't lose who he was. He threw it in their face. They didn't like it. They didn't like that kind of freedom. They never do. But he got pardoned. So how do you get pardoned if you broke the law against something that was serious? America still has never answered that question. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.